Royalty. Power to the chosen people.
Okay, so I am on my way to work, but I had this thought yesterday, but yesterday was hectic. Working on and finishing, I'm like literally in the final stage. I uploaded the files, having one more person do a look through before I launch those files. So Little Judah, I know I spoke about it just in brief, but Little Judah in America, which is a children's book, will be available tomorrow. So hope you guys are looking forward to it. PDF, digital version through Kindle may be available sooner, but you know, just so that we stick to the schedule, it'll be available tomorrow. Okay, so yesterday I had some thoughts, like I said, but I was kind of working on that. And then I know a lot of you are familiar with Mr. Ronald Dalton and Mr. Maurice Lindsay. Maurice Lindsay has the books out, Wake Up to Your True Identity. And Ronald Dalton, his most popular work is Hebrew to Negroes. So yesterday I was on the Hebrew to Negro radio show with Maurice Lindsay, Ronald Dalton, and Miss Tina Matthews, and we talked about this whole idea of community and building these communities and why they're necessary in this current climate. And so we had dialogue on why that's important and what we should be focusing on. So I'll post the link to that so that you get an opportunity to see it. Sorry about the shaking. It's a bumpy road. Okay, so I might make this video audio if the bumpiness is too bad. If it is too bad and I do post it, just kind of try not to watch it. But it's something that's really, really important, and I don't want to delay on any further on this particular topic. So as many of you know, my academic background is I'm an educator. I've been to school, master's program, and obviously all that means nothing without Torah, of course. And so how the academic system works is, and for any of you who don't know, and for those of you who do know, then this is just review, is that when you go to college, the first thing they ask you to do is choose a major. And after you choose your major, then there are things that accompany that major to make it so that you are more hireable, as they would call it, and those are called minors. And often they can be just something you like, but normally, more often than not, the thing that they are in conjunction with is your undergraduate work or the foundation of your education. So those general educational courses that everyone is required to take when they get to college. The reason why I'm bringing that up is because a lot of Hebrews are majoring in the minor. And when people say that, immediately a person thinks that what the subject you're talking about is minor. The subject is never minor, but the issue of a minor is that a minor needs to be accompanied by a major. If you pick a minor and you major in it, then you have simply majored in a minor. So it's very simple. A lot of people on this walk are taking subjects and trying to major in them, and they're minors in the sense that they accompany your foundation. You can't start off in this walk and say, ooh, yeah, I'm going to be a teacher. I'm going to take no general ed. And then when I become a teacher, my main focus is going to be, I'm trying to think something that's not going to be completely offensive to somebody. My main focus is going to be pants. So I haven't read Torah, and I haven't studied Hebrew, and I don't know language, and I don't know culture, but I'm going to pick teaching and pants as my major. And so you're like, no, honey, that's a minor, because those two things you skipped over, the language, or the three things, the language, the culture, and the scriptures, those are your majors. once you have completed your majors or your general ed work, then you pick a minor. A lot of people are studying the minors and leaving out the majors. And what I mean by that is when you pick up a YouTube video and you are not reading scripture, and I'm serious about this, like even my channel, I'm serious. No YouTube channel, no book, no personal study, no anything supersedes reading scripture. Don't use them as a supplement for reading scripture, because what you're doing is you're majoring in the minor. That's you can't do that. Nothing is a substitute for scripture. When you go through your undergrad Hebrew walk, what you're doing is you're laying a foundation so that you won't have these questions. I promise you, if you guys read the scriptures for yourself with new eyes, the way you come into this walk with those fresh eyes and you see everything, forget everything and everybody else, and you need to read the scripture. If you can't do that, then you're not counted worthy of this walk, because that's your foundation. Nobody goes to a doctor, right, and who says, oh no, I'm a neurosurgeon, but I never went through undergraduate medical program. And you're like, what, you didn't go to you didn't get a pre-med degree? So you just really liked neurosurgery, and you about to operate on my brain because that's just something that's been always on your heart, even when you were a kid. No, it's not how that works. It's against the laws of nature and everything else. You don't go to a 1-year-old and say, oh, this baby's gonna be a track star. Baby just started walking, and you're like pushing them and running them miles at a time, and they just started walking. Their legs fatigue easily. What do they need? They need a foundation. They need to walk. You need to take them places. Sometimes you might have to pick them up and carry them because their legs get tired. But that's part of the undergraduate or the foundational education of becoming a great runner, is to first learn how to walk right. Okay, can you walk? Okay, do you walk heel to toe, and do you have good posture? All right, let's build on that. But you don't just take a person and then just throw them out there, okay? So I want people to be very careful about this, because there are a lot of people who have gotten this walk and they started majoring in the minor, right? And then now they're trying to build off of that basis. So you know how hard it would be, go back to that example of a neurosurgeon, you know how hard it would be to take a person who has been doing neurosurgery and never had any education, and then try to put them into an educational setting to teach them the fundamentals? It's almost impossible, because in their mind it works for me. I've treated this many people, and this many people understood what I was doing, and they were healed. And so it's hard taking a person now and then giving them the correct method to doing things, or even a more functional method to doing things, or maybe just repeating some of the things they already learned. I grew up playing basketball my whole life, and one of the people that was always heralded in the basketball community in my time was Tim Duncan. And it was because he was not a basketball player, but he was athletic. And what made him so good is that I think he didn't start playing basketball to maybe college. If anybody knows, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it was maybe college. And when he began playing, maybe it was a senior year of high school, but when he began playing, they taught him fundamentals. And one of the things he went down as is a very, very fundamental basketball player. And it made him great because he was already athletic, and he had the cognitive ability to do what he was doing. But being put into a setting and being forced to do the fundamentals, right, made him lay a very clean foundation. So then when it came to all those other things, it was easy. So many people are confusing this walk because they're searching through YouTube for minors and then majoring in them, instead of searching through Yah's word, reading it, letting the Ruach give you the understanding. And then when you hear something, what you're supposed to do is see if it agrees with Torah. And that's so hard for people. It's so hard. I mean, I'd say it in a lot of videos, and I mean it. I can spot a person who has majored in the minor a mile away when it comes to calendars, when it comes to feast days, when it comes to logic, because I know you don't have the mind of Scripture, because there's certain things in Scripture that don't allow you to do what you're doing, or don't allow you to major in the minor, because they stay so consistent. There are certain themes that run throughout the Bible and throughout the Apocrypha and other things that must line up. And so if you're majoring in the minor, what you're doing is you're not seeing these fundamental things, and you're picking and pulling out the parts that fit the minor. And while that's okay when you're minoring, it's not okay when you're really trying to lay a really good foundation for truth and for understanding. And so I want to encourage the people who are reading and who are going through Scripture with fresh eyes, because that's the best way. All these other things are rabbit trails. You'll get to them. You'll get to them. I remember it was hard at the beginning of my walk to stay away from everything. I'm not listening to camps. I wasn't watching YouTube videos. I think in the beginning stages of my walk, I watched the video that made me go, this is very interesting, which was an old video, and the guy's like, his name is Yehoshua. Yeah, that guy. Watch that video and then study Hebrew. Those were the only two things I did. I didn't know about all these people and all these names and all these. I didn't know about that because Yah kept me from majoring in the minor. He said, look, I drew you out. My Ruach is what led you. Don't grab my hand and then grab somebody else's hand and then start asking me questions and questioning me because of what somebody else said. Listen to me. Let me fill you with all you need to know, and then I will give you the other stuff. You'll be able to question, but you'll have a basis and a foundation in order to tackle and combat or accept this information without it being such a resistance. People are having such a hard time with things because they don't know. They really don't know, and a lot of people are confusing them. So for people who really want to study the Scriptures and really want to read Torah and want to read Scripture, grab the YouVersion Bible app. It's free. You can register. You don't have to. And you can listen to the Bible on audio and take out the time. I know people are like, but I want to study and I don't know what that means and I don't know what this is. Read it all the way through. Our people learn by auditory listening, like your ears. Listen to the whole thing. I know you're not going to catch everything. You're going to have questions. Things are going to go, aha. You're going to want a rabbit trail. Listen to the whole thing. Get it inside of you. Then go back. And when you go back, then go through and study it. And then study it more. And with a fine-tooth comb. And then start, picking up your minors. Ooh, I want to look at how this compares to the prophets. Ooh, I want to. But if you haven't got out of Torah, you can't get through Genesis, and you're telling me you want to talk to me about what Paul said or what this person said, or you're telling me I don't believe this and you haven't even read. Listen to the whole thing. Let it filter. And then pick your minor. Your major right now in this walk, and I don't care if you're in it 20 years, I don't care if you're in 5 minutes, your major, your prerequisite GE is grab that book and read the whole thing. The whole thing. Whether it's through audio or reading, read it. You can do it if you are really serious. I always know when people are serious. If you're really serious, you can get through that in less than a month. I mean, I'm talking about and that's play serious. If you're really serious, you could do it in a week. If you're really, really serious, while you're at work, pop your headphones in. Just listen. Yes, you're going to miss something, but it's just like those songs that come on the radio and you're like, I hate this song. And every time you hear it, you change it. And the next thing you know, it plays and you know the whole thing. Why? Because your body and your brain and your subconscious is taking the stuff in and processing it. It's the same way with the word. So if you put it in, and I know you're moving around and you're doing stuff, but it's going. And it's in your head and it's happening and it's being deposited. Those seeds and that water of the word is beginning to allow the roots, to take root, to anchor into your heart. So don't feel like, I was listening and I didn't. Don't get it in. And after you get it in, then pick a minor. And then allow Yah to guide you in all understanding. And finally, when you're studying Scripture, let Yah be true and every man a liar. Okay, so I really want to share that with you guys. It was eating me up inside because I'm like, oh my gosh, these emails and these people, And I know what the issue is, and it's like there's so much, but before you can take meat into your mouth and chew it, baby, you gotta have some teeth. And you got to have some incisors and some molars and some, you gotta have them. And so get some teeth, right? Get some jaw power enough to chew, right? Start off small. You might need some pureed stuff, need some milk. Stop trying to skip processes, trying to get where somebody else is, because somebody may have skipped the processes and their fundamentals might be all wrong. And you're following them and they might need to go back. I think everybody does. Me and my husband, there's a rule in our house. We're always going back to Torah. I think right now he's, this week, I think he's out of Exodus, so he might be in Leviticus or Vayikra. So every week he's in it. Going through it. And then obviously, then we'll pick up other books but getting a firm foundation of Torah and then the whole Tanakh and then the whole scripture allows you to see things, and then your brain starts, now you're not buzzing and minoring in what other people think. Yah's going to give you your own personal direction and influence that he wants you to have in order to share with people. And he's going to show you personally your minor. Because we all have one. We all have an area of focus, but it's rooted heavily in his scriptures and in the consistency and in the purity of them. And so then it's okay if you say, you know what, my heart's passion is to deal with abused women, and it won't be from your perspective, but you'll grab your minor and match it to the heart of Yah, and which is his word, which is your major. Okay, so Yah's word, which is his heart and his word and his teachings, are your major right now. And that's all you need to be focused on. Other people's convictions and how well they say something and how convincing they are, it doesn't matter if it doesn't line up with the word. And if you don't have the word in you, then you don't have the necessary foundation or plumb line, as the scripture calls it, to measure up the teaching of other people. The scripture in your heart becomes the plumb line, and it's the dividing factor between truth and a lie. And that's what it needs to be. So, congratulations on coming into the University of Yah, or that's what I would call it at least. And grab that prerequisite packet, that book and those scriptures. That's your textbook, and your curriculum is Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy, Joshua. Those are that's your educational plan. Follow it. Get it all in, and then let's go back, and then we'll find your minor. All right? Okay, I gotta go to work. Shalom, shalom.
Royalty. Power to the chosen people.